Michael J. with the opinion. We're going to talk immediately about carbon tax Carney, Pierre, Poilieve, and Daniell Smith. And pretty much in that order, too. Okay? So we're going to go to the main screen. The main screen. The main screen. Oui, monsieur. Okay. Pierre axe the tax Poilieve. So he's got, here's his bag of tricks right here. Axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, stop the crime. So where's this crime stuff come from? That's local, so provincial governments. So like Ontario, it's already a conservative government. Why can they not fix the crime? What's the problem there? Fix the budget? It's going to take some work. We just came through the worst pandemic in 100 years. And the after effect of the inflation caused by the pandemic and getting out of it. So fixing the budget is going to take some time. It's not an overnight thing. Build the homes. Pierre, you don't have any plan to build the homes. All you have is tax breaks for your buddies. Tax breaks do not build the homes, will not straighten out the problem. And then you want free markets. Look what it's done with Ontario. Free markets has increased a price of a rental for a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto. And we're not talking about the Tony districts of Toronto, to between $2,000 and $2,500 on a monthly basis. That's for a studio to a one bedroom. Like a studio, $2,000 a month. Not even a friggin' one bedroom. So, axe the tax, carbon tax. In L.A., pretty much got certain parts of L.A. just wiped out with wildfires because of we got an issue with climate control. Everybody's in denial about climate change. Even some of the guys, the conservative guys that want to bend your ear for the conservative way, say the big banks pulled out of zero net carbon. Isn't that wonderful? The banks, they got nailed with laundering money for criminal organizations, decide they're not going to be responsible to the citizens they're legislated to serve. And they're legislative privileges of banks that the average guy doesn't have. And you don't get it. You can keep punting the climate change ball down the field, which we've been doing for many decades, and you just can't keep doing it. It's going to hurt. Just can't stop doing that. You have to take care of the problem. Or you can do like what Trump's doing. He's going to invade other nations, get his buddy Elon and Jeff Bezos, pay to play the game, to land on Mars so that once they've burned this planet up, they can go to Mars. I'm not taking you with them. Trust me. Not taking your kids with them. So, let's see what Mr. Poilieve has to say. Understand this is 6 hours ago. Another clip from the Jordan B. Peterson collection. Jordan B. Peterson collection. Isn't that friggin' special? Doesn't that make your heart warm?
What did we do wrong as a country?
What I'm about to say is not a shock to anyone.
Let's listen to these guys out. Let them say what they have to say, and then we'll respond.
We have a prime minister who is dedicated to a extremely radical ideology. It is just rehashed socialism that has been discredited again and again and again throughout the ages. And his basically authoritarian socialism has guided him throughout his entire prime ministership. He believes in a state that controls every aspect of your life, your money, your speech, your thought. It controls the economic, all of the industries of the country. And every time that has been tried, it is a complete disaster. So there's no mystery involved.
So one of the things that I think is particularly striking, I saw Stephen Guilbeault, who's probably the minister in Trudeau's cabinet who's most fervently
he describes
enemy of the
himself as a
Canadian
socialist.
economy. Well, this is the thing. So he described himself as a socialist. And so the Liberals, and that's Trudeau's party, have been a centrist party, historically speaking, and they were the home of the classic Liberals, all things considered. And they like to steal good ideas from the left and from the right and chart Canada's course down the middle. The thing about Trudeau's Liberals is they're not Liberals, is they're far left socialists. And they came to power in the guise of Liberals, and that meant that they're bloody. Their government was fraudulent, technically speaking, from the beginning, because Guilbeault, for example, obviously should have been a member of the NDP and not the classic traditional Canadian Liberals. But he didn't care, because he knew that had he run for the Socialists, he would have ended up with 20% of the vote, because that's what they always do, and never had any clear pathway to power. Exactly. And so Trudeau brought a bunch of people in who were so radically left that they left the NDP in the dust, essentially. And they've been running the country on false pretenses for 9 years.
What a crock of crap. I'm serious. That's just a crock of crap. Authoritarianism, socialist, come on. Here's the deal. This is something you have to understand. This guy, Pierre Poilievre, all he's got in his bag of tricks is he's playing as in this same interview, he says to Jordan Peterson, I'm a prosecutor. He's got no way of fixing the issue. Says, I'm not going to tell you when Peterson asks how he's going to do it. He tells Peterson, I'm not going to tell you. But he makes these accusations that are basically not true. We just went through a period of time where the worst pandemic in 100 years. It created an inflationary spike because of supply and demand of products worldwide. This was a worldwide issue, it wasn't local. Every country went through it. Absolutely every country. Now, here we've got Daniell Smith. This is the 21st of January, CPAC. Now she's from Washington, D.C. after the inauguration of U.S. President Donald Trump. She's down there just saving Alberta. She doesn't care about Canada. She's been down there for quite some time now. And as a matter of fact, I'll provide something to show you exactly what I mean. Here we go. Okay. Come back to the screen. Here she is, Mar-a-Lago, with Jordan Peterson, Kevin O'Leary. They're going to sell out your country on you. They don't care. You think things are bad? Things are tough in Canada. They're tough around the world for the most part. Things are starting to finally turn around. But, if you're an American state, you need a simple operation like a hernia operation. A simple hernia operation is going to cost you over $20,000. What do you think they're going to charge you for a full hip replacement? So here you go. There's Jordan Peterson. Blames the federal government because of his professional conduct issues. which is governed by the province of Ontario under a conservative government. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, he'll sell you out just so that he can make a buck. He doesn't care. That's just the way he is. And here we go.
Just with the executive order signed yesterday.
She doesn't even come back to, she stays in Mar-a-Lago. First Minister's meeting with the Prime Minister and their group. She's not there to work with them to create a plan. She's on her own, trying to make her own side deals.
Administration, we were pleased to see that Canada got a day one reprieve from tariffs. But if you look
tariffs
at
are coming. They come in February 1, maybe.
That is due back on April the 1st.
Either way, you can't get around it. And here's the other thing. The thing about the tariffs, he says it's because of fentanyl coming down from Canada. What, 99 grams over here? Like, that's a real big issue? The issue's your side there, Donald. And also immigration, people flooding the border. You know, it's just bullshit. The guy wants to create, he's going to bail out on Ukraine, let Putin take over Ukraine. Trump's going after his allies, NATO, Canada, Mexico, all the allies, Europe. The other day was Spain. And he wants to make North America just America. Gulf of Mexico, he wants to change it now to Gulf of America. Already did an executive order on that. Guy doesn't care about anybody. He's just absolutely cruel. There's two ways you can do it. You can create pain and suffering, or you can make a situation where it's joy and happiness. And it's really that simple, and people just don't get it. Maybe it's because you're used to always pain and suffering over all the years. You just want more pain and suffering. Because I don't know, what does that make you feel good? To have to suffer make you feel good? Makes no sense. Here's the cabinet minister they're talking about that's a socialist.
Report to Mark Carney.
I think it's important that we have someone who really understands the economy and who's a leader in protecting the economy, who has experience both in Canada and around the world.
3 cabinet ministers announced they're backing Carney. Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault, Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Gary Anandasangari, and Minister of Indigenous Services Patty Hajdu, who posted online that Carney, quote, has the experience to tackle affordability, fight climate change, and grow our economy. That now makes 7 Liberal cabinet ministers who are endorsing Carney for leader. Christopher.
I want to point out something right here. Okay, and this is what you have to pay attention to. You can listen to all the noise. The noise is not going to help you out making a decision. Getting rid of the carbon tax is not going to make you rich. It's not going to change your life. And if you think the housing problem can be changed just like that, it's not going to be. It can be on a local level. And I'll tell you the problem with Ontario is Doug Ford, Conservative government since 2018. Deregulation and free markets. And because of that, the average guy, single guy, can't afford a 1-bedroom apartment. How's he going to afford it? Unless he's making $150,000 a year. $100,000 a year minimum. So here we have Canada thrives when we come together. Experience the tackle of this affordability thing is just not going to be an overnight thing. Climate change is a real thing. Understand that climate change is a factor of the planet itself, but because of the way humans have created the environment so toxic, the way we treat the planet, it's accelerated the climate change. And this is the danger, and this is what you don't understand. We had a situation back about 50 years ago with aerosol cans, fluorocarbons, depleting the ozone layer. We got on top of that because if the ozone layer went, we went. But we changed that and reversed that. So, Climate change is real. We got to deal with it. Last year, Jasper burnt down just like California did just this past couple of weeks. And it's just out of control. And you got more situations like that. These natural disasters in North Carolina, other parts of the states. Miami is going underwater. And, you've got a new leader of the United States. People put him in power because they want an aggressive leader. Young people that didn't go through the Second World War and seen the effects of war on people. And after the Second World War, we had a period of compassion because people had seen the brutality of 2 world wars. And now you've got people that have never been through those situations, haven't seen it for the most part, and they're advocating that because they have nothing to measure against it. So they want to be aggressive. That's no way to deal. You can do better. Like, compound your chances to the betterment of everybody by working together, building bridges, not building walls. And it's really that simple.
Climate change and grow our economy. That now makes 7 Liberal cabinet ministers who are endorsing Kearney for leader.
So this is the Stephen Gilbert that they're talking about. Or that Peterson and Pierre Poilievre just released a video on. So that's what you're dealing with. Now I want to show you another thing, and then we're just going to wind this right up because, I don't understand why you just want to keep going through pain and suffering. The best plan for getting homes and righting the economy is the Liberal plan. Is it perfect? No. The second best plan, believe it or not, might actually be the NDP plan. And I'm going by what Steve Boots put forth and from what I had seen. The Conservative plan's not going to work. It put us in this situation because all it is tax breaks. So you can't have tax breaks and then increase defense spending and increase other spending. It's always been a problem, and it's been a problem with every Conservative government over the last 50 plus years. And this is why we're in this situation. We also need to change other micro and macroeconomic factors, and that's just the reality. So what I want to show is this here right now. Let's go to the screen. Let's go to the screen. Okay, so had some guys comment. This was because, Trump, Putin. Like, you don't know about Trump. Guy working with Boris Yeltsin, then Putin to help launder money through Panama. A Colombian drug cartel through David Guzman. These are things you don't realize, and this guy's now president of the United States. This is why Ukraine's going to be friggin' sold out. Because Trump's going to turn his back on him because he owes Putin because of the money laundering. So here we are. Guy says, time for a change. Who else? Time for a change. Yeah, sure, it's a time for a change. But the change, for the sake of change, unless it makes things better, it just makes no sense. You're just going to waste 4 more years. You've just been led by, what's his name, Poilievre. He spent over $8 million. Liberals 400 and change. NDP 47 grand. To just beat the drum. Get rid of the Liberals. Get rid of the Liberals. Axe the tax. Well, Poilievre can't fix the problem. Doesn't know how to fix the problem. So, the guy said, amateur hour. This guy knows nothing. And then, I called him out on it. And then his answer is, then start the conversation from a position of knowledge. Read the poll numbers. Poll numbers can change. Poll numbers are not necessary to start a conversation. Understanding where the problems are and what needs to be done to fix them is a good basis to start a conversation. Then I had another guy say, finally says, I don't understand the point you're trying to make. Are you saying that supply and demand isn't a real thing? This is regarding the housing market. Yes, supply and demand is a real thing. When you deregulate the market to take away rent controls, and then you have corporations that come in and buy up all the rental units, start using price-fixing software they're getting from the states, and price-fixing the costs and raising the costs up to an exorbitant level, you've got an issue. There are other factors as well, like Airbnb, private landlords. But everybody just falls back on supply and demand, which they say is a capitalist way of doing things. But then again, if you're looking at it from a Darwinian way of thinking and a capitalist model, without modifying that model to work for the people, you're making a huge mistake. You're just creating more pain and suffering because it just doesn't make any sense. You can modify the levers of the economics to satisfy all parties, and nobody is looking at it from that perspective. And now you have this great disparity. You had this great pandemic, worse than 100 years, an inflation spike, unprecedented. So all they're going to do, like they did in the U.S., they blame Biden. Actually, Biden did a great job. Number one, in pulling anybody out of the inflation boondoggle, putting the country back onto an even keel for growth. Now you got this new guy that Elon Muscolini is number 2 billionaire. Pay to play. Now it's pay to play. Whoever's got the most money. And you really have to question what's going on from an ethical and a moral point of view. And you've got children, and those children, you really need to think about what we're doing to set a framework that really helps people. So you can have pain and suffering, or you can have joy and happiness. You can make those decisions. If you want to have a villain like Poilievre, with nothing constructive, just going to hurt people. You want a villain like Trump, just going to hurt people. Reap what you sow, but it just makes no sense. Especially when you have these choices. So that's where we're at. I'm going to leave that with you. I'd like to say thank you, folks. Where's my 2 little buddies? Thanks for watching. Questions, comments, throw in the chat. We'll gladly like some dialogue back and forth. It's the only way you're going to understand. You can just keep using what didn't work in the past that created the problem, or you can use new ways of looking at things, modified ways of looking at things that actually benefit people instead of pain and suffering. So we're going to spiral out of control. Anxiety's got a hold of you. Take a deep breath. Do what my buddies do. Relax and take it easy. Love and peace to everyone. Take care. Ciao now.